Without waiting for me to say okay, he swapped out my untouched rigatoni Alfredo for Marty's steak pizzaiola. I'll try it on your recommendation, yank. Tell me about yourself, I said, sawing into the steak. Zach said, reporters don't really like to talk about themselves, you know. We like to ask the questions. Oh, try something new, I said. Then I tried the steak. It was, as advertised, very good. Zach said, okay, here I go. Born in Minnesota, degree in journalism from where else? Northwestern. Live in New York, and as a single guy with no baggage, I've been assigned to the international sports desk and odds and ends, which is a dream come true. Mind if I have a bite of that? He said, eyeing the steak. You want to try the eggplant? I'm not so big on eggplant. I put the plate of steak in the middle of the table and we worked on it together. And then Zach said, your turn, Red. I just shook my head no and kept going with the steak. I didn't want to talk about myself. Not now and maybe not ever. But Zach was one of those reporters who wouldn't be brushed off. I hope you don't mind that I grilled Marty about you. I glanced at him through my lashes, then dropped my eyes back to the table. He told me about the settlement being knocked down. Your injuries. I can't talk about that, I said. Okay. I'm sorry, though, that you had to go through that. I put down my fork and knife. I said, Zach, the war was awful, indescribable. But my life in South Sudan was about the displaced people who had less than nothing. The mothers with babies had no milk to feed them. I don't know what came over me, but I sang right there at the table overflowing with food. Baby boy, hello, baby, please be quiet. When your hunger is very painful, just lie down and sleep. Better to just lie down and sleep. I said, in South Sudan, that's a lullaby. The sadness on Zach's face showed me a lot about him. He stopped eating, and so did I. And then, without realizing that the full moon had been eclipsed by clouds, the sky opened up, dropping heavy rain on the awning. Waiters poured out of the restaurant and began moving the tables and customers away from the loud and slashing rain. Zach said, what do you say we get out of here? I stood up and we ducked into the trattoria. And I remembered when I was in the camp. The heat radiating in waves off everything, and there wasn't enough clean water for drinking. And I had asked God to make it rain. He does things in his own time. Chapter 29. We were on Zach's shiny red Vespa, tearing up the ancient roads and boulevards of modern-day Rome. My arms were around his waist. I was pressing hard against his back, and the hot air was just about blowing my eyelashes off. Zach turned his head to look at me, and I shouted at him, eyes on the road! I'd been in Rome for 2 weeks, and after my self-enforced week of lockdown in the Hewitt's apartment, I now had a very engaging play pal who had wheels and a lot of free time. As it turned out, Zach knew Rome but didn't speak much Italian. I knew Italian well but didn't know Rome at all. Perfect combo. Every day at about 10, after Zach had checked in with the Times, he picked me up at the Hewitts and we went for a ride. Since our first self-guided tour, I'd seen a lot of Rome at 60 miles an hour. The Pantheon and Trevi Fountain, the Colosseum and the remains of the Circus Maximus. But I'd avoided Vatican City. I just wasn't ready to confront the hub of the Roman Catholic Church. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Right now, we had the wind in our faces. The river rolled on to our left, and we were weaving through crazy traffic on Lungo Tevere Raffaello Sanzio. A couple of turns later, we were on Via